Hello, my name is Amin, and I'm an 18-year-old student from Asia Pacific University, and my life was quite a basic one. I'm from Algeria, but I've spent most of my life in Qatar until the age of 16, where I thought it would be a great idea for the most uncultured person to go out and live on his own. I'm a very sociable person, so moving to a new country seemed to make sense, and I always try to challenge myself to get out of my comfort zone. But looking back, I think I might have been pushing my luck a little too far. My first weekend in Malaysia had to be the worst week of my life, and not for the reasons you might think. I was a month late because of visa issues, I didn't know where I'd be living due to confusion with my accommodation, and I only knew one other person in the whole country. But after finally finding other people to live with, who went on to rob me in the future, things seemed to be on the up. I started making friends and talking to people more comfortably than I'd ever done, and I'd become comfortable with myself. To say the least, life was good until the corona outbreak. On March 17th, 2020, quarantining had begun, and I would not leave my apartment complex for another few months. To say that my social life had become non-existent would be an understatement. The only people that I would talk to face-to-face were my roommate and the shopkeeper downstairs. Having to also balance that with my studies that were now strictly online was a handful. Once June had arrived, things seemed to calm down a little, and with both of my roommates having traveled back home, my hands were forced and I had to find a new place to live. This was what I thought at the beginning of my third struggle of living in Malaysia, the phase of going from bed to bed and couch to couch. In a time span of about 2 months, I saw myself living in about 5 different places. To most, it sounds miserable having to pack your bags and move out every other week, and on paper I thought the same. But those 2 months ended up being the most enjoyable months of my entire life. Looking back, those months were when I felt the most adventurous. I had done what I originally expected myself doing when I first moved out to Malaysia. From group activities every day with friends to just me walking across the streets of Street Petaling at 3 in the morning all by myself. I felt free. The year that I spent in Malaysia was one of the best years of my life. It would be a different Muhammad Amin making this digital story if he was not stolen from in his first home. During my time in Malaysia, I wrote myself a life lesson to live by. A life with no regrets is a life not worth living. I thought it was pretty cheesy, but I believe it says a lot about the way I live and have lived my life already. To risk it all.